YouTube, this is Racer1278 coming back at you again with another piece of info regarding the Penn-Plax Cascade 1000 filter. Now in the video that I posted prior, I had showed that down here there is a space or a void where your tank water comes into the bottom and then flows up through the various media. What I came across was the Eheim Biomech, which gives you both mechanical and bacterial filtration. The reason I went with this versus the Fluval is, as you can see, the shape, it's very conducive for growing beneficial bacteria. As you can see, it has a little divots, it's got all the holes for the bacteria to grow inside, and it's very porous, so it's going to suck that bacteria deep inside, protecting it. So the reason, and here's the bag that it came in, it does have a kind of a acidic or almost silicone type smell to it. It is dusty. I do have dust in the bottom, which definitely rinse it out. But what I've done now is I've filled that void. There's little plastic fingers on both sides that hold the lower basket. So I filled it up to that point with that media. And then I have the coarse media, and then I have the filter floss. That I'm going to leave. This is going to actually sit down on those plastic tabs, and what's going to happen now is as the water comes down into the filter, that media is going to trap any of the heavy debris, fish poop, you name it. So right there, that little step is making this filter a lot more efficient. It's not going to allow for that stuff to come up and clog up your coarse filter faster than it would without it. Then what I'm going to do is, in the meantime, as I mentioned in my other video, I'm going to go for the Biohome Ultimate and put that in the remaining two baskets, and that's going to be my biological filtration. So this will be the mechanical, well, technically it's going to be mechanical, biological in the base because of the Biomech. It's going to come up into the coarse, into the filter media, so that's kind of the best of both worlds. The coarse will develop the bacteria as well, and then it's going to flow up, which is going to be pretty much filtered out clean water coming up through, at least now, these filter pads. So by the time it reaches the outtake, it's pure water. There's nothing in it. When I do make the switch and I swap out this media, again, it's going to just be the Biohome Ultimate, and that's going to house all my beneficial biological bacteria for filtration. And as you can see, the filter floss doesn't really fill the gap here. And really, the bottom filter should have more of an egg crate to allow for more of the surface and catching and stuff of the debris. But then what I'm going to probably do in the meantime, because I really want this to be super efficient at filtration, is I'm probably going to take some of this Biomech and I'm going to put it in stage 2 down here underneath the filter floss. So there again, it will catch more of the debris so that by the time it really gets to the top, it's been filtered pretty well. And then I'm just going to leave this kind of as a polishing pad, even though it's not as fine as a polishing pad. But what I'm going to wind up doing in this last stage is I'm going to put my Purigen bag underneath the floss here, and that way it'll trap some of the microorganisms and also keep your water, for those who've used it, will keep your water crystal clear to the point where it looks like your fish are just floating in air. So with that, it's really going to ramp up the effectiveness of the filtration by catching the heavy stuff down here. The less stuff that gets through will keep that coarse media cleaner longer. The filter floss will actually catch the finer debris, And at this point, this upper layer is going to catch the remaining debris. So hopefully it's going to really keep the tank clean and super clear. So again, with this filter, I have to say the quality is not too bad. I haven't run it yet to speak on the noise aspect of it, but from what I've heard, it's been pretty quiet. The latches are plastic, but they're not that cheap plastic that feels like it's going to break in your hand. The canister itself, pretty thick. The trays are definitely solid. I don't foresee any damage coming to those. And the housing, the pump and motor stuff is pretty solid, pretty well built. The even down to the base has rubber feet underneath, but it's going on a carpet in a basket to catch any leaks if it does leak. One thing that I would stress for new people getting into canisters, or even some of those people that already have canisters that never heard this tip, is where your intake comes over the top of your tank. Wherever your water line is, go about an inch below and just drill a hole in that hose. And the reason I say that is if you're away, you're at work, whatever the case is, and you have a power failure and your pump doesn't auto start or auto prime, a lot of people have experienced backflow onto the floor, hundreds of dollars of damage for something that just making a little hole where that hose comes down. As that water starts to drop, and hopefully you have this in some sort of catch basin, that'll catch the water till it gets to that hole. Once it hits that hole in the hose, it'll break the siphon, and that'll stop any backflow into the canister and onto your floor. So hopefully that little tip for those of you who've never heard that before, hopefully it helps you out. And then basically just take into consideration where to place that hole. You know, how long is it before you actually do a water change? How fast does your water evaporate? And then just place it accordingly. To me, I think about an inch is safe for those that have the actual frame tanks, because that black frame is an inch. So I usually run mine just up to or just slightly above the bottom of that black lip or the black frame. So in the event that it evaporates a little bit, I don't have to jump up and do, add water to it or anything like that. And then when it gets down there, which I'll never let it happen, just in case power failure, I don't have to come home to 55 gallons of water on my floor. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully some of the ideas that I gave you with regards to the canister filter helps you out. And this will actually work in any canister filter that has that void on the bottom. I know with the Eheim 2217s, they don't have trays. You can still use this media in that bottom, especially because with those they're bottom fed, to one, increase the filtration on the bottom to catch the heavy stuff, and secondly, and more importantly, create a biological bed in the very bottom so that the bacteria is there waiting for the food to come in, and they'll eat it, and it'll actually purify itself as it steps up through the various stages. I know a lot of people like to put the polishing pads on the top, which if these steps aren't done here efficiently, it's basically going to clog up your polishing pad and render it useless a lot sooner than it should have. So at least now, if I decided to do the biohome, if I decided to, which I'm going to do, is put the Purigen in, it's going to meet with the purest water possible as it goes through, and then the end result is really finished and polished water for the ultimate crystal clear tank. So again, this is Racing1278. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Like and subscribe if this helped you out. And if you have any comments or questions, certainly leave them in the comment section down below. And I will try to answer and help out anywhere that I can. Now I've got to rinse, and I've got to go put this on the tank. Till later. Peace out.